Hi, it's Penny here, and today what I wanted to do is a bit of a Goodreads Want to Read list clear out. So I use Goodreads often to track the books that I want to read. Whenever I'm watching Booktube or whatever and someone talks about a book that I want to read, I mark it Want to Read on Goodreads, and now I have a big list. So on my list I have 279 books. A while ago I did go and sort this out into a bunch of like sub shelves. So Goodreads has different shelves, and I created a bunch that start with the word to read and then divided them up by like genres or different categories, with the idea that then I could like focus on completing particular categories. Never did that. But it does mean that now we could go through and decide which ones of these books I'm actually no longer interested in reading and try and get the number of books on this list down. Because I am thinking now that I'm getting close to series 0, sort of, and also TBR 0 in terms of my physical TBR shelf, maybe part of me wants to make a goal to be like Goodreads 0, to like have read everything on my want to read list. Now that's actually completely unrealistic, not going to happen. But maybe if this list was more organized, I could prioritize things better. I mean, that's the plan I had before. It hasn't happened, but maybe I'm getting to the point where I could attempt something. But the first thing to do is to sort this list out. So what we're going to do is basically go through each of these categories and decide if I'm still interested in reading the books on the list. I have no idea how long this is going to take me and whether I can even get through it in one session, but hopefully it won't take too long. But let's get started. Let's see. So firstly, my first category is AI. I definitely want to read Summer Frost by Blake Crouch because he is an author I really like. I really like Dark Matter and Recursion. Hybrid Child, I've kind of forgotten. I think it was meant to be really weird. I do see the average rating is really low though, and since I don't remember it anymore, I think we might just remove it. What happens when I remove it? Oh, it does a magic update. Okay, then we have Is There Life on a Plastic Planet? I don't really remember what this is about, but I feel like it's kind of classic-y, and the average rating is quite high. I think it's really short, so I'll probably leave it on there. Then we have The Last Human. This is about some like the last human who knows like for some reason humans were deemed too dangerous and gotten rid of, and there's just this one left. It's an interesting concept, but like the average rating's really low. I don't know. I haven't decided how strict we're going to be. Maybe I'll leave that one on for now. Then we have The Companions. Again, this is another AI one, but honestly, well, they're all AI on the shelf. This one, I don't really remember, some kind of AI companions, but the average rating is 3.13, so I think we're just going to remove it. Then we have The Similars. This is the beginning of a series, so I'm not sure if I'm excited about starting a series. It's also looking like it's got romance and YA tags, which honestly probably means it's not really for me. The average rating's not that high. Nope. Anyone? I mean, that cover's not doing it for me anymore. You know, I'm only skimming that synopsis, which is a sign that I'm not really interested. We're going to start out harsh. We're going to try and be harsh. Are we? I don't know. Willful Machines. I don't remember what this is about either. But again, romance, young adult. Not a super high average rating. I think we're going to cut it. And then we have Genesis, which I've already read, so we can just take it off this shelf. How do I do that? Where is it? Will it magically update? Does it require manual intervention? Okay, so now we only have 3 books on that shelf. We're doing good, and we've gotten things down from 279 to 274. Do you think I can get it under 200? I'm not sure. Anyway, next we have classics. So, firstly, I've read the Oz books. I've read 100 Years of Solitude, and I did not like it. Then I have a few here by Daphne du Maurier that I would like to pick up. The Secret Garden. I've read that before. I think I had a copy floating around at some point, but I've gotten rid of that. So there's no point keeping it on the list. Maybe I'll read it at some point. I would like to read The Picture of Dorian Gray because I've heard good things about it. It's quite high rated. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I don't know. Right now, probably not that interested. Maybe one day in the future, I might do some sci-fi classic reading, will I? I'm just not excited about reading it. That's another one where I used to have a physical copy, but I got rid of it, and then I just never removed it from the list. Anyway, I used to have a lot of problems with keeping my physical lists, like physical books, and my digital lists synced up, and I think actually it's better just not even to sync them. Oh, did I just remove those from the shelves and not from the shelves? Oh no, I did. Okay, let's tidy this up. Goodreads is a little bit clunky. And then it refreshes it. I don't want you to refresh it. Come on, Goodreads, be my friend. Stop being so annoying. Because now what have you done? Not what I want at all. Okay, I'm not sure if I've tidied that up properly, but I've tried. Then my next group is contemporary. Not generally a fan of contemporary, so let's cut a bunch of these off. Firstly, we have Notes on an Execution. So this is one that was really hyped last year, 2022. The average rating's still really high. I think it's about like a mother and some other woman, like women that are involved with a man that's on death row. I think it's probably still would be interesting to pick up at some point. I think Chinese Whiskers I put on here because it's from a perspective of a cat or something, but the average rating's really low. I think we're gonna kick it. 1,000 Roads Home, it's a really high average rating. I believe it's something about a character with autism. Oh, there's a giant plane flying overhead. I'm sorry if you can hear that. Honestly, I don't know if this one will be for me, but I know that some people have recommended it. I'll probably keep it on there. Your Welcome Universe, I think is about a deaf girl, but I also think it's YA, so even though the representation is probably quite good, it just probably isn't something I would enjoy. And I think that's the same with A World Without You. I think that that's another one with like mental illness representation, but also YA, more YA, I think. And then lastly, I've got In Real Life by Cory Doctorow. Honestly, 100% only put this on my list because of the cover. I really like that cover, but I don't think it's going to be for me. Although it does say that it's a graphic novel. Why have I not put this on graphic novel? Is it a graphic novel? Can I get it on my iPad? I mean, if it's a quick read, maybe we'll just try it. Okay, I don't know. I've downloaded it, but Libby seems to be having some massive problem with loading anything. So we don't know whether it's a graphic novel or what, but let's just continue with the list. Okay, so then I've got Dark Academia, and there's only one book in here, and actually, I've read this. I love the Betrayals, 5 stars, but there is 100% more Dark Academia books that I want to be reading. So this list is clearly not complete. And this is why, like, if I'm going to have books on here that I want to read, I want it to be a complete list, so I really need to fix this up. Anyway, that list is now going to be empty, I think. Okay, then we've got books with dragons. So this one, I've got Women with Dragons, about, like, women that suddenly start turning into dragons or something. Still keen to read that, even though the average rating is not that high. Then we've got the next book in the Burning series. What's the first book called? Rage of Dragons. Then we've got the first book in the Temeraire series. So actually, I'm going to take this off, but only because I have like the 6th book of this series on my physical shelf, and I'm going to do another video where I decide what I'm doing with those books. So let's just put that as part of that. And then Burn is, I think, like a middle grade dragon book. And as time has gone past, I'm not really interested in it. So we're doing good. We're cutting books off the shelf. I actually am tempted to cut this off the shelf too and leave it to my series list for now. Is that what I'm doing? Yes, I'm taking off things that are already dealt with elsewhere. And then later I can decide if I'm combining lists or not. Let's do it that way. Then we can really get this list down. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, next we've got fantasy. 26 books. This first one, Immortal Longings, I was going to take this off the list actually. The average rating is only 3.6, and I suspect it's tagged with YA and romance and historical fiction. However, I just, before I started filming, watched this book by Elliot Brooks talking about this book and how she thinks the TikTok hype has led to this book getting not so great reviews because it's not meeting its target audience, and it actually sounded more interesting than I would have thought. So even though I originally think I only put this on the list for the cover, I might just leave it for now. And actually the Ninth Reign is another one that Elliot Brooks always raves about, so I'm going to leave that one on as well. The Atlas Paradox I have read, and same with Storm of Sisters. The Helm of Midnight, the average rating's not that great, but I have heard good things about it. I think I'm still interested about it, but I probably should put it on my series list. Actually, same with Ninth Reign. I'm going to have to do a series list sweep after this, I think. Anyway, then we have The Master of Jinn. This has got a pretty high rating, so I think I'm still interested in reading that one. Same with The Killing Moons by N.K. Jemisin. These should all be on my series list. This one, Prudence, I have this on here because I have the physical copy that I still need to decide about. So I'm going to take that off for now. And Dawn Shard is part of the Stormlight Archive. I'm going to take it off here because I have that tracked somewhere else. Then we have Bloody Rose, which is the sequel to, what's it called? Kings of the Wild. I didn't really like Kings of the Wild, and I was trying to get this on audiobook, but I know I've DNF'd this on my series list, so I should DNF it on here too. This is why it's no good when you're tracking things in two places. Then we also have The Emperor's Wolves. I actually picked this up and realized it's a prequel series to another series that's kind of more urban fantasy, not really to my style. You definitely cannot read that prequel series on its own, so no, we'll be getting rid of that. I would like to read A Carter Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. Nocturna, I'm a little bit mixed on that. The average rating is just so low. Is it tagged YA romance? I think I'd heard good things about it, but I suspect it might not be for me. Oh, what's happening over here? It does look like in real life might be a graphic. I might still read it as a graphic on my iPad. Did I say I'm keeping A Carter Witch? That's another series, but I do want to read more Nnedi Okorafor, and I've heard good things about that one. River God I kept on here purely because I wanted some fantasy books set in Egypt. I would actually prefer more like one written by someone actually from Egypt or around there, which Wilbur Smith is not. And Wilbur Smith, I don't know if his style will be for me, but I might still keep it on the list for now. Will I ever get to this? Will I enjoy it? I don't know. Maybe it's worth every now and then trying something that I'm not sure about. I definitely have this one on my series list already. And same, Goodreads says no. How do I get back to where I just was? To read fantasy. Oh, you're probably going to stop recording in a minute too. Let's pay attention. Foundry Side and The Girl and the Stars are both on my series list separately. Heirs of Power is by Cats and Cameras' sister, I think. This Return to Labyrinth, I'm going to kick this. I tried the first volume. I really love the Labyrinth movies, but the first volume was just not what I wanted to read. And same with His Dark Materials. I'm reading that now. This is like a bind-up edition, but I'm reading it now, tracking it separately. Then we've got The Tethered Mage. Honestly, I remember people talking about this a bit, but the average rating's low. I don't really remember it. Let's kick it. Then we have Spinner. I think this is one with like disability rep. I don't really know much more about it, but it does have a very high rating, so I think we might try it. It's another series. This shouldn't be a surprise for it to be all series on the fantasy list, really. Then we've got The Beast Player. This has still got an average rating that's quite high, so I think I'll keep it on. The Invisible Library. Average rating's really low. I don't really remember it. Let's take it off. The Smoke Thieves. So I did really like the Half Bad trilogy by Sally Green, so I'll probably keep this on even though the average rating is quite high. In Night Darken by Kirsten White. I really like some stuff by Kirsten White. And I think this is like a, what's his name? Vlad the Impaler kind of retelling, but like a gender bent one. Honestly, I'm probably not going to love it. I should take it off. Like I might like it, but am I going to love it? Probably not. I would like to try this Anne Bishop series at some point, or something by Anne Bishop, because I've heard a lot of good things about her. So, okay, that's the fantasy shelf done. That's one of the longer ones, so I kind of like doing it in these little blocks. It makes it so much more easy. Anyway, let me restart you, because you're about to stop. Then we'll continue. Take a breath. Okay, so next shelf. Fantasy Standalones. Oh, so those would have all been series. Okay. Bad Witch Burning. I really like that title. I think I really love the cover, but I'm pretty sure it's urban fantasy YA. The average rating is high though, so maybe we'll keep it on there. The Cartographers. That average rating is really low now, but I kind of heard it was just that it wasn't what people were expecting. I think I still might be interested. The Tangleroot Palace is Marjorie Liu, and the cover is this absolutely beautiful art by Sana Takeda. I just love Sana Takeda's art. Is that a good reason to pick up a book with a cover by her? Not really, but I don't care. The Bone Orchard. As you can see, average rating is super low. And I think I had seen reviews saying that it wasn't what it wanted to be, but also that it was a really amazing concept. So I think I might keep it for the concept. Are these good reasons? I don't know. Beyond the Black Door, this I bought for my mum at some point. I don't know if she's read it, but I should read it at some point. The past and other things should stay buried. I think I put this on there after I read another book by Sean David Hutchinson that I liked. However, it's a really low rating. I don't tend to like short stories. This is, I think, a short story anthology. So we're going to get rid of it. And then these last two I've already read. Huh, nice. So that means we are down to 254. We're getting there. Let's get it under 250. The next list is just graphic novels. So I've read some of these. Nice work. Let's just take all the ones I've read off to begin with. And then maybe this will be more easy to look at. No, probably not. Great. The interesting thing is, so I created these shelves, and then recently I was looking for graphic novels to read, and I didn't even think of looking at this shelf. Anyway, Hooky, I mean, my standards are probably really low for getting something on this list because, like, I can just read graphics really quick. So Hooky looks super cute. Witchy thing. I'll keep it. Motor Crush looks cool. Mermaid in the Shoe. I've heard that's really beautiful. I would like to read some more Lock and Key, even though I'm less interested in kind of like the Civil War era part of Lock and Key, but I love the first Lock and Key books. So Invisible Differences, I keep not picking this up. I should, just for learning more about things and different perspectives. Lock and Key Grindhouse. I feel like I did read this, but in a bind up. Did I? Maybe I should reread it. And same with Lock and Key Guide to the Known Keys. I think I read that. This one I think is like another memoir type thing that I thought I'd seen good reviews for, but also like it could be good for getting a broader perspective of other people's lives. I don't tend to like reading memoirs that much, but graphic novel versions can be good. Again, just quick reads. Lighter Than My Shadow. I think that's another memoir one, but look at these high average ratings. They're really high, so we'll keep them on. Snow Glass Apples is like a Neil Gaiman, I think Sleeping Beauty, but maybe also Alice in Wonderland kind of retelling. Anyway, I'll read it. Shades of Magic. I have the first volume somewhere, but I never read the third volume. I should just go back and reread the whole thing. I should probably do it since I'm currently doing a Shades of Magic reread and I'm going to read The Fragile Threads of Power. I should probably read this around the same time. Family Tree is by Jeff Lemire. I really love Descender by Jeff Lemire, so I wanted to try that. March is like a historical one, to be honest. Part of me wants to take this off just because I'm kind of, I don't know what the word is, feeling overwhelmed or like just kind of tired of American history always being at the forefront of everything rather than the rest of the world. But, you know, it's a graphic, so I could learn something. It could be good. I put it on here at some point because someone said it was good. Sleepless. I don't know. I think it was meant to be nice. Far Sector, N.K. Jemisin. I love her. Blackbird. This is all by Jen Bartel. I love her art. I would love to read that. You know what? Am I going to actually take anything off this list? The only one I might actually... Mob Psycho 100? I just don't know if this is the kind of manga I'll like. Oh, why not give it a go? I think I'm going to take this Labyrinth one off. Am I? This is like a different Labyrinth thing than my other one I looked at before. It might be worth a go. I think I'm going to take this Buffy one off though. Am I? I think this is the one that Becca from Becca in the Books was always recommending though. Oh, we'll try it. And same with Bully Wars. This is by Scotty Young, who does the I Hate Fairyland one. I love those. You know, we're just going to try all of these. They're quick to try. The problem with the rest of the books is they're not quick to try. Graphics are quick to try. I'm actually pretty okay with DNFing graphics if I don't like them, or like even just like flicking through until you get to the end. Anyway, I'm not worried about the graphics on there, but maybe I need to do something different with how I track graphics. So let's move on to historical. The Book of Longings is, I think, like a Bible retelling. I'm not religious, but I do find the Bible as a fictional piece of work very interesting. I'm sorry if you're religious and that offends you, but I would like to read this. The average rating is very high. I've heard really interesting things about it. The Kingdom of Back, even though the average rating is very low, it's about like Mozart's sister and like a magical world that they created together. It's kind of not really fantasy though. But I like music. I would like to read it. Once Upon a River, I think that I keep getting this confused with A River Enchanted, and I think it's Once Upon a River that I was actually interested in because I recently tried A River Enchanted and I didn't really like it. So then we have The Binding. This I had on my list, then I'd actually taken it off, and then I read The Betrayals by Bridget Collins and I loved it. So I'm going to give the binding a go at some point. Codename Verity. This is one I know a lot of people rave about. The average rating's fairly high. I mean, I don't tend to like historical World War II stories, but I feel like this is one that just gets talked about so much that I'll probably pick it up. Am I getting worse at taking things off this list? I don't know. I think we're down to 254. Yeah, I don't think I took off many there. Let's keep trying. Firstly, The Boatman's Daughter I've already read, so that's well done. Follow Me to Ground. Wow, that average rating is super low. I'm sure I saw Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction talking about this. I think it's meant to be kind of witchy. Literary fiction I don't normally like so much, but look, it's only 200 pages. We're going to try it. The Quiet Boy, I think this is one that, I've forgotten her channel name, but I think it's meant to be a really weird, I haven't really found what I like for horror, but maybe I'm going to try that too. I think that might also be really short. 32 pages, we are going to keep it on. Rules for Vanishing, look at that average rating, it's so low. What is this about? I don't know. You know, it looks kind of YA, and not to say that YA is bad. I've probably cut a few things off because they're YA, just because I've been trying to read less YA because it's 100% not my demographic. I think I'm going to take that off, and actually, I'm going to take off Soul Hill Girls. I saw a lot of people really loving that, and I picked up the audiobook, and it just wasn't gelling with me, and I thought it might be the audiobook, but actually, with some time away, I think maybe it's just not for me. So, okay, we did better with getting rid of the horror ones. Then we have mermaid books. I really wanted to read some more mermaid books. However, I think this list is not going to be great. Firstly, we have The Deep by Rivers Solomon. I do like the sound of that. However, I have found that Rivers Solomon's writing style is just not something I like. So I think I have to take it off. This Coral by Sarah Ella, look at the average rating. I don't think I'm going to read it. And same with this Mirror. Look at the average rating is super low. We got to take it off. And then this one, also super low, and I think it's just kind of simple. I think I need some better mermaid suggestions, please. Thank you. Okay, middle grade. Oh, this Castle in the Air is tracked elsewhere. This Magic Misfits, I think I decided to DNF the series, that it's not for me. Kat Howard, I would like to read some more Kat Howard. I think I was trying to, she's one of these authors that I've really liked everything by her I've ever read, and so I kind of wanted to just complete her, or at least try this middle grade series that she wrote, even though the average rating is low. I like her stuff. I think as well, Small Spaces. You know, maybe I'll take it off. Oh, maybe I should take all of these off. Do I really want to read middle grade books? You know what? I'm going to take all of these off. I kind of like middle grade graphic novels, but really, I'm too old for middle grade. And every now and then there's one I'll really love, but none of those are calling to me today, so they're gone. All right, we are down to 247. We're under 250. We're doing well. The Witch's Hat. This is one that's based on kind of Norse mythology. My stepdad really loves to dress up as a Viking, so I would like to learn more about Norse mythology. And I was thinking of buying my mum this at some point, so I'll probably read that. 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. So I read another book by Natalie Haynes, and I didn't really like it specifically for the writing style, so I think we're cutting it. I don't think I'm interested in her takes on Greek mythology. Okay, non-fiction. What is on here? Oh, this March is on here as well. Part of me wants to say I'm still interested in all of these. Am I? I probably am. I need to just try and get these in audiobook form though, because that's how I need to do non-fiction. I think I need to think about non-fiction separately. We're just going to put it aside for now. New Zealand books. So most of these we're going to keep because I just love supporting New Zealand authors. And I don't think any of these will change. Actually, no, we will change. So I still want to read this one by H.G. Parry. I still want to read also by H.G. Parry, A Declaration of the Rights of Magicians. I still want to read The Bone People. That's kind of a classic. But these ones I have physically. So let's take them off for now. And also these ones I'm taking off are ones that I read when I was much younger. So I kind of have already read them. I just wanted to reread them because I remember loving them in primary school. Okay, this is another big shelf. Let's get ready. This is older fantasy. Firstly, for some reason I have Wheel of Time on here. We can take that off. This is a hard shelf to deal with. Finest Seekers. This is one I should probably... I want to do a whole reread of a bunch of older fantasies that I've read. I need to probably just put this one on that. This is one, like the Gaddy's Tale is one with like cat companions. Anyway, this Magic Ex Libris, I decided to DNF that already, and same with the Demon Cycle by Peter V. Brett. The writing style just wasn't for me. And kind of the same with Pern. I've decided I was going to try and read all the Pern books, but I think I've decided I'm okay with not. Trudy Canavan is an author I'd like to try. I don't really know where to start. Do you know where to start? Let me know. But I might just leave these on here for now to remind myself to work that out. Will I look at this? Will I remember? Who knows? Let's get rid of some more Pern books. The Boondocks Twin is one I've heard is good. The Magic of Recluse. What did I do with this on my series list? I think I was waiting for the audiobook and then, I don't know. Maybe I decided to DNF the series, but maybe I'm not committed to that DNF yet. To be honest, that book series is like 20 something books long. What I was actually waiting for is like him to just stop writing them so that I would know how long the series is going to be. But I bet he's been still writing more. Troublesome guy. Why does he always write such long series? See, there's book 23 here now, so now I'm 3 books away from the ending. And the problem is the series is just so long that my library has stopped buying the newer audiobooks, or at least it had last time I looked. I'm going to delete it and we'll just see if at some point in the future I remember that series. If I do, then clearly I wanted to read it. If I don't, then it wasn't meant to be. This Hunter's Oath is by Michelle West. I kind of want to read some more Michelle West at some point. And I think this was kind of her first series. I would like to reread the Valdemar series at some point. That's why this is on here, but I have that somewhere else. And I'm pretty sure somewhere else, that somewhere else list also has Black Trillium on it, which is another series I'd like to reread. Then we've got a bunch of Pern ones, which we will cut. The Jaren books are now tracked elsewhere. And same for The Crown of Stars by Kate Elliott. Oh, and I've read In the Ruins. This is tracked elsewhere. The Plesiocean saga is tracked elsewhere. The Renshai trilogy, I do have a later book in the series on my series shelf, which is kind of representing this series. Dragon Prince series, I don't really know if I'd like this, but I would like to try it. I like some other stuff by Melanie Ron, and I need to like make up for Capital's Tower by her never ever being released. This Diana Treeguard series should be on my other list, but I don't know if it is. And I don't want to read this Catherine Kerr book anymore. I think I used to own it and I got rid of it. I would like to try a series by Fiona Patten. I always used to read short stories by her and I never picked up like a full book. This is another Jaren one that I have already read. And then we have another Pern one. Then we have a couple more Michelle West ones. I'm not sure. Were these series connected? I need to go and do some research about Michelle West, who's also Michelle Sakara, but her fantasy stuff is usually published under Michelle West, or her epic fantasy stuff, and that's what I'm most interested in. These 2 Mercedes Lackey series here are ones that I started back in my 20s and then never finished, but maybe I would like to. And then Thomas Covenant, The Unbeliever, I have on my physical shelves. I've read it before. I would like to reread it, but let's not track it on here at the moment. So we've got things down to 226. We're getting there. Older sci-fi. Okay, Rokannon's World. So this is another series that I should put on my series list. Magnificat is already on my other list of series that I'd like to reread, and that is also the same with Jack the Bodiless. Actually, most of these are on my physical shelves. Perseus Spur is on my physical shelves. Beyond Ragnarok. Why is this on Sci-Fi? Penny. That's wrong. Acorna. Do I want to at some point reread the Acorna books? I don't know. We're going to leave them on there just for now. Probably not, but maybe. It's like this unicorn girl. They're kind of cute. And I thought I liked them a long time ago. And no one noticed the cat. You know what? Let's take that off. We don't need to read that. Okay, we're down to 221. I'm going to pause you again. Goodness, we have so much footage. And then maybe we can finish it off in the next lot. Okay, so next we have pandemic books. I still want to read How High We Go in the Dark. I still want to... I like pandemics. I don't like pandemics, but having lived through one, I find the concept really interesting. I'd like to read all these books. Poetry. What is in here? No Matter the Wreckage poems. I would like to find some poetry that I really like. Is this going to be it? I don't know, but I should try it. I'm sure it wouldn't take that long to read. Then we have Retellings. Oh, Immortal Longings is in here. Didn't I... Oh, I also had it in fantasy. Was I doing things across multiple shelves? Was that intentional or not? Is this a retelling? What's it a retelling of? I have no idea. Anyway, sure. This is also a retelling, but I already talked about it. I already read 1Q84 and I hated it. DNF'd it even. The Raven's Tale. That average rating is not a good sign. Oh, it was kind of like Edgar Allan Poe related. You know, I like Edgar Allan Poe, but I'm not a big enough fan to read something that's 3.5A rated. And I already read Wicked. So, we are down to 220. Can I get it under 200? I don't know. Sci-Fi though. Sci-Fi shelf's got 32. That's too long. Okay. I Who Have Never Known Men. I think it's like a French translation. Emily Fox raves about it. I would like to read it. Same with these short stories by Kate Folk. Now, I know I said before I don't normally like short stories. However, I tend to like short story anthologies more when they're all by the same author and I think they're connected. So we'll keep that. The City Inside. You know, I really love the cover for that. And I thought it looked interesting, but look at the average rating. I can't. I can't. If I don't remember what it's about, we can't keep it on with that. Who Fears Death? That's Nydia Okorafor, so I'd like to read that. Hearts of Oak. I have no memory of this. The synopsis is weird. It feels like it's a really weird book, but the average rating's just too low. Let's take it off. It's always possible some of these will end up back on there if someone else reminds me of why I love them. Please make your arguments if you'd like to. Upgrade, I already read. It's a 1 star. Stonewetter, I believe this is a New Zealand author. Oh, it is on the New Zealand authors list as well. Oh, a different New Zealand authors list than I thought it was on. Anyway, it's a New Zealand author. We'll keep it on. The Push, I already read. Didn't really like it. Or I half liked it. Senlands of Sins is on my series list. So we'll take that off here. I would like to try reading some more Octavia Butler, especially the sci-fi stuff she's got. Friday Black. Is this short stories? I feel like it might be short stories. No, it can't be. Is it? I think it is. By one author though, and I think I heard really good things about it. We'll keep it on. A History of What Comes Next I've got on my series list. Feed. I think I have Feed recommended to me by like an actual person that I know in real life, so I'll probably keep it on for that. The Quiet at the End of the World though, I think Lauren James is one I haven't liked in the past, so I don't know why I added that on there. Seven Devils. I've heard mixed things about that. Can I keep it on just for the cover? Please. I'm going to. The 100, I decided to DNF the series, so we'll take that off. Annihilation really should be on my series list. I do want to try it, but it's not on there. Off to Be the Wizard. Honestly, looking at it now, doesn't look like something I'd be interested in, so why did I say I was? Oh, you know, reading this now, it reminds me of the Frugal Wizard's Guide to Surviving Medieval England, which I really didn't like, so we are taking it off. Then we have Keystone. This has got a really low rating, and I don't really remember it. Ugh. Something about influencers. You may think I'm trying to be an influencer here, but either way, I'm not interested in reading that. Chilling Effect. I picked this purely because it's supposed to have like psychic cats in it, but the average rating's really low. I don't really think I would like that. I do want to read these Veronica Roth short stories. I think I gave it to my sister at some point. Oof. The List. That's another one with a super low rating. What is it about? For sci-fi books, I always want to look up what it's about because so often sci-fi is about the concept. I do like that cover. Middle grade. I think we decided we were keeping middle grade off the list. The Children of Men. I love that movie. That's why I wanted to read that one. Vox. No memory of it. Low average rating. We're just going to delete it. I think it's another one of those ones where it's like limited words that people can speak. I think I was adding a bunch of those at some point. Unwind. I have that up on my shelf up there. We don't need it here. All Systems Red I have on my series list. And the fact that I haven't read it is like, that's probably top priority on my series list. The Walled City by Ryan Groudon. I would like to read that just to like complete Ryan Groudon. Even though she seems to have now become a middle grade author and will probably never write anything I like ever again. Maybe. Elusive. Don't remember what it is. The average rating looks low. We're just going to cut it. And same with... No, we're going to have a look at Thousandth Floor. No, we're going to take it off the list. I think it's just not what I want. A Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet is on my series list. I know there are people who want me to read that. I am going to read it. I am. It's probably another one near the top of my series list. And then we have The Double. I watched the movie The Double. I really liked it. And I was like, is this based on a book? Also, I've read Blindness by Jose Saramago. And even though it was quite hard to read, I did really like that as well. That's another one with a great movie. So, yes, I'm going to keep The Double. The Scorpion Rules. Oh, look at the average rating. I've always thought this was interesting, but I think I also always get it confused with Senlin Ascends. Young adult dystopian romance. You know what? Let's not. Okay, so we're down to 204. We can totally get under 200. Come on. Okay, superheroes. We've got Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. That should be on my series list. It is not, but I would like to read that. And also, All My Friends Are Superheroes. I remember Cody from Cody's Books. I've forgotten her channel name. Anyway, she recommended that. Even though the average rating's low, I think it's a shorter book. So I'm going to read it anyway, one day. Okay, now we've got thrillers, and there's 24 on the list. Oh, but it looks like I've read some, so that's going to make things easier. Paul Bearer's Club. Didn't like it. I do like the Truly Devious series though. A Flicker in the Dark was all right. Girls in the Garden was all right-ish. In My Dreams, A Holden Knife was all right, but not really for me. Let's refresh this to see what's left. Oh, Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires I've also read. Okay, so then Twyford Code. You know, I think the people I've seen recommending that are not people that I have common reading taste with, so I'm going to cut it. Last House on Needless Street, I'm still interested. They Never Learn, also interested. Near the Bone, don't remember, haven't liked everything I've read by Christina Henry before. I think I'm going to take it down. The Sundown Motel, I have on my TBR for this month. Horror Store, you know, I haven't liked a lot of stuff by Grady Hendrix, but I believe this is mostly picture-y. Is that right? I should try and get that out of the library. The Invention of Sound, I don't know, the average rating's low. I don't know if I'm ready for Chuck Palahniuk's books, to be honest. What Lies Between Us, I've really liked some John Mayer's stuff before, so I would like to read that. The Girlfriend, don't I have that? Oh, I have that physically over there. I'd love to read a bunch of like point thriller, horror type things that I read when I was younger at some point, but Defending Jacob is on here purely because someone recommended to me at some point. And it's probably quite different from a lot of other books that I've read, so I would like to try it. The average rating is still quite high, so that's a good sign. Missing Since Monday is by Annie Madden, the Babysitters Club book author. Kind of just want to read that for fun. Camp Fear, that's on my physical shelf as well. If We Were Villains, should this not be on my Dark Academia shelf? I think so. Let's move it all together. Should I keep it on two shelves? I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just move it. Do you think The Furies, you know, Becca really recommended that, but I'm learning where Becca and my tastes overlap, and maybe this is not it. Sleeping Beauties is Stephen King. You know, I'm not hyped to read some King. I'm thinking of ending things. I watched that movie. I haven't read the book. I'm kind of interested just to see because it was so strange as a movie. 6 stories. I don't know. This is short stories. The average rating's not super high. It's been a long time since I heard about it. Let's cut it. And then Good Me, Bad Me. Again, don't really remember it. It's not calling to me. The average rating is lower. Let's cut it. What are we up to now? 195. I got under 200. This is amazing. It's still way too many books to read in any kind of realistic time frame. Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. The more I hear about it, the more I'm afraid it won't be for me, but I'd still like to try it. This one I've already read. This Gone World. What is this? Oh, these are ones that are like time reality stuff. Tend to really like those. Like Alone with You in the Ether was not really that, but it also kind of was. And even though it wasn't to my taste, I still really liked it because of the concept. So honestly, I think most of these are going to stay on here for a try while the other me is super low though. Oh, I read this one. Oh, and I read this one. Oh, and I read this one. I didn't like either of those last two though. There are some on this list I should probably take off. Let's look. The Gone World, what is it? Inception meets True Detective. Ugh. Synopsis sounds boring. It's gone. Sea of Tranquility though, I would like to read it, and I think it links in with that other one that's in the pandemic section, Station 11 or something. The 22 Murders of Madison May doesn't have a super high rating, but I think I kind of remember what it was about. A serial killer pursuing his victims across time and space. and a woman who's determined to stop him. We'll give that one a try. The Memory Theatre is by Karen Tidbeck, who wrote, what's it called? Ametka, which I loved, so I really want to read that one. Last Memoria, I'm going to cut this. I have no memory of it. The average rating's low. And you know what? Same with The Other Me. If these books are good, they'll come back to me at some point in the future. Game Changer by Neil Shusterman. I don't mind Neil Shusterman, so we could try it. The Dream Daughter, I've heard really good things about. Future of Another Timeline, I think I really liked the synopsis. Vanished Birds, heard good things about it. The Memory Police, I heard someone talking about it just the other day and actually saying good things. Goddess in the Machine, I think I'm going to cut. Time Cat, we'll keep. We love cats, we love time. The Dreamers, I love dream stuff, so definitely. Time Was, wow, look at that average rating. We are cutting that. And I think I might also cut these next two because I feel like they're more YA type ones. I could look into it, but I just want to cut them for now. Let's make this a realistic list. The Sudden Appearance of Hope I still want to read. I recently read another book, The Pursuit of William Abbey by Claire North, and I did like it. So even though this low rating's low, I think the concept's interesting because it's about a woman who, as soon as people can't see her, they forget her. Very similar to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I would like to see that concept done in a different way, and I think from the other Claire North books I've read, I think it'll go into like more of her doing something with that ability, which is very different from Addie LaRue, where she just kind of doesn't do anything with it, or we don't get to see her doing anything with it. The Unseen World. I like that this shelf, I've just called it Unknown because I can't tell what this is. Like, it's tagged as mystery, contemporary, science fiction, thriller. It does say coming of age fiction, which doesn't tend to be a theme I love. But the average rating's pretty high, and obviously I wanted to read it at some point. I feel like I'm being really inconsistent with how I cut things. Anyway, last shelf. Urban Fantasy. I've read this. Hidden Blade. I mean, so I'm skipping that one for a second. Mercy Thompson is on my series list. And I imagine that the Innkeeper Chronicles are also on my series list. And actually, so is Death's Daughter. So, the only one left on this list to consider is Hidden Blade. Average rating is not high. I have no memory of adding this. You know what? Now I see the cover. This is another book that I added when I was looking for books with an Egyptian element to them. So we'll keep it for that. But a bunch of these need to be added to my series list. And then maybe we can get this down even more if we keep series separate. Is that how I want to track it? Honestly, I don't know. Oh, but I've still got some more we need to look at before we move on. So on my want to read list, if I sort it by date added properly, because for some reason Goodreads always loads it backwards, Daughter of Smoke and Bone is already on my series list, so we'll take it off here. Most of these are ones I added recently, so they haven't been put into these smaller things. Silver Nitrate sounded really interesting. Sour Candy sounds really interesting. It should be. Maybe I should put these on the list they're meant to be on. Sour Candy should be on horror. I don't really know where Silver Nitrate fits into things. I think it's kind of horror too, actually. Let's just put it on there. Let's mess up my list. Even though the point of this is meant to be tidying it up. Before we say goodbye, you know what? That's probably on my series list, but also I don't know if I want any more before the coffee gets cold. I didn't really enjoy the last release in that series. Lauren Smith, this should be on my series list. And to be honest, I don't know if I will like it, but I just keep seeing this cover and I really love that cover. I think it's so cool. It's young adult romance. I don't think I'll like it, but I really like that cover. The Witch King by Martha Wells, I'd like to try it. Daughter of the Blood. Oh, this is another Anne Bishop one that another person recommended to me the other day, so I wanted to read it. It should be on my series list. Oh, I forgot about adding these into the shelves again. Okay, I was babbling for too long. And you ran out of batteries. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm going to tidy this up. I need to put both of these. I think I'm just going to put them into to-read fantasy for now. Although this is a fantasy standalone. Ooh, we need those. Then Daughter from the Dark is on my current reading list, so that's fine. The Unbalancing. I think someone recommended this to me. It's Sci-Fi. I think I've seen a few people raving about that actually. We are just going to put it on to read Sci-Fi. I've realised I can't see the average rating in this view for some reason. Goodreads, that's very annoying. That's quite high. This book I have on my physical list. Oh, so we should take it off here. Then The First Binding. Tales of Tremaine. I do like that cover. The average rating is low. Oh, it's very long. I've only added this recently and yet I have no memory of it. That can't be right, can it? Maybe Patrick recommended it. You can see he's given it 5 stars. I'm going to add it to read fantasy, but I'm iffy about it. Then we have some Megan Lindholm ones. These are ones that I really need to just add to my fantasy list. But Megan Lindholm is another name for Robin Hobb. I love Robin Hobb, so we will at some point be completing everything she's ever written. The Imaginary Lives of James Poneke. This is a New Zealand one. It's quite low rated, but I do like things by New Zealand authors. Oh, I've done this wrong. This should probably be under to read New Zealand. Cool, classic. The weirdest thing is when I recently added these and I have no memory of them. Mind Control. Oh, I love Mind Control. Ugh, romance. Thriller. I don't know. Do I have a good shelf for like Mind Control? Maybe I should make a new shelf. Let's make a new shelf. Then Central Station. This is really low, but I think Rachel from Shades of Orange. Yeah, you can. Oh, she's got her want to read, not her read though. I think I'm gonna cut this one. The average rating is just too low, and I can't remember it. Oh, this Neom is by the same person. This is one I do remember Rachel talking about. A robot. Let's add it to our AI ones, even though robots doesn't necessarily mean AI, but it kind of does, mostly. Certain Dark Things. This is one where, honestly, I just love the cover. It's kind of an urban fantasy. It's not a series, though. Maybe I'll add it to my, I could add it to this urban fantasy one, but also add it to Fantasy Standalones. The Black Rabbit Literature Society. Is this one in Dark Academia? Is that why I added it? Or is it just because it says rabbit in the title? Finnish Literature. Books about books. A highly contagious book virus. I think this might be Dark Academia. And I think, even though it's low rated, we might keep it around. The Shadow Was Lost is already on my series list. This one is the new Kendara Blake one. I didn't know that I was interested in that. What made me interested in it? It's young adult fantasy. I must have added this for a reason though. But it should be on my series list. This one, let's cut it from here because that's on my series list. And Junji Ito Tombs, I would like to read. That is horror. How far are we from... Oh, we're nearly there. Just these 3 more, I think, and then pretty much everything should already be sorted. Oops, I lost my place. Okay, we got One Dark Window, The Paradox Hotel, and The Plot. Let's look. One Dark Window, you know, it says young adult fantasy romance, which doesn't sound like I would like it, but I think somebody was talking about the concept and it sounded interesting. Horror. Let's just add it to the horror shelf, even though I think it's probably less horror than I want for horror. The Paradox Hotel is probably time stuff, right? You know, it probably is, but the low rating and the synopsis don't make me think I'm excited to read it after all. And then lastly, The Plot. What is this about? I remember someone talking about this. It's like a story within a story kind of deal, but I think there was I don't think I can attempt to explain it, but I think it was weird. Let's put it into time reality. I don't think it's a time thing, but I think it messes with reality. So that's my want to read list sorted. Now it's 178 books. Now, admittedly, there's a lot of series on a separate list that I have that maybe should be on here, but I think actually I might move all my series off here because I've been trying to get to series 0 and I need to keep my series under control, and by having them on this list I feel like I might start them when I don't mean to start them, and I'm kind of working on a separate way of keeping my series better under control and like knowing which series I want to pick up next, which I'll make another video about at some point. Anyway, I think this is my Goodreads shelf sorted out for now. 178 books that I want to read. Given that some years I've read 158, actually some years I read 200 books in a year, so like it's probably not ever possible to get to Goodreads 0 because I will always be adding new books to this list. But maybe we could get it like to a nice state where like books are constantly just moving through rather than just like it building up and up and up. Maybe. Anyway, let me know how you organize your Goodreads lists, or like if you use some other system for tracking all the books that you want to read. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful to you in some way, that you saw some cool books. Definitely let me know if you've added anything to your want to read list from this. And I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.